Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, hi again. It's the Bill Crane Report. My friend Dwayne Weiss and
Hello,
I
everybody.
are here to chat some more about the events of the day. So, I don't know whether you happen to see this or not, but Nora Roberts on CBS
Yeah, I know who she is.
had Bernie Sanders.
No, I didn't see that.
Oh, well, it was interesting. So, Bernie, you want free college education, free health care, forgiveness of all student debt, and this is estimated at $60 trillion. So how are you going to pay for this? I don't know. I don't know how much this will cost. No one does.
Doesn't matter. Yeah.
So, and you get mad.
Oh yeah, you question Bernie. You're
Yep.
gonna.
Well, and then, so in print, in an email or something, who knows, a tweet or whatever, J.P. Morgan's Chase's boss, Jamie Dimon, replies, well, he liked socialism when the government gave him in his bank slammed him, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Jamie slammed him. And Bernie replied, well, he liked socialism when the government gave him in his bank $416 billion during the bank crisis. Truth. It was $25 billion,
Mm-hmm.
which Dimon said he didn't want or need and repaid it with interest.
Yeah.
I mean, what kind of a knucklehead is Bernie to come out with $416 billion? I mean, does he think people are going to believe that kind of stuff?
Bernie's one of those guys that his program is the most important. The details of how it's going to be achieved is minor.
Yeah.
And he just wants to get his program. He'll tell you any figure you want to hear. And Warren is like that too. She will just simply spew out some ridiculous program and no thought of how you're going to pay for it.
And you know how you know what the genesis of all that is?
Yeah.
Is she has these structured town meetings
Yep.
that are just Democratic operatives,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
and they feed her softballs.
And the questions are usually pre-approved.
That's right.
written and
They're on
pre-approved.
3x5 cards and handed out. And so she's used to that.
Mm-hmm.
And when somebody hands her something, a real
Whoa.
question, she's lost.
Yeah. Well, you can see all of them if a spy or a mole gets into these meetings that they have or these presentations and ask a question that's not cognizant right with their idea. Look how the fire starts to fly.
You know that there are moles at Bernie's and her
absolutely.
meetings and all that, and they just keep their mouth shut.
Yeah,
and they read their question, and that's it. But they are finding out exactly what goes on in there. I like Stuart Varney on Fox Financial, but sometimes he's terribly naive. He doesn't think things through. He was raving the other morning. I cannot see how left-wing Democrats could vote for a capitalist billionaire in Michael Bloomberg. He said they'll never put him up. The answer? As far as I'm concerned, they'll all vote for him because they are consumed by hatred for President Trump.
Oh, that just sums it right up.
Yep.
That Trump hatred is so severe. Wouldn't matter what it was. I mean, you could. Hell, they could find out Bernie Sanders was a card-carrying KGB agent.
Yeah.
And they would still blame Trump for something. Or
Absolutely.
It wouldn't matter.
Absolutely. You're absolutely right. It was interesting. I was watching a British mystery show on TV, and they happened to say Well, I'm not sure what time it was, but the sun was coming down. Now, they say the sun is coming down. We say it's going down.
Right.
Yeah. I think they're closer to being right than we are.
Yeah, I think so.
Um,
Speaking of entertainment, we watched The Irishman over the weekend. It's on Netflix. It's about 3.5 hours long. Very good movie. But
okay.
if you're afraid of the F-bomb or some of the other language, it's not the movie for you.
It's never scared me off.
Well, I didn't know. I told my son,
Yeah.
I said, if you sit down to watch it, don't watch it with the kids.
Yeah, right.
And it's violent. Oh my God, it's violent.
Really?
Yeah. Well, it's about mafia.
Yeah,
And
right.
Hoffa and taking over the mafia, taking over the different stuff. And they had a way of solving any kind of dispute.
Problems, yeah.
They called it painting the house. That's
Painting
what the
house.
book.
That was the book.
Yep, that was the book. And Monica goes, "What do you mean painting the house?" I said, "Well, we'll watch the next time one of them gets a shot."
Is
And
right.
There was a lot of bodies in that movie.
You know, The Sopranos, when they were on TV, it was pretty darn close to being realistic there, too. It was very interesting. Yeah, they're disappearing, though.
Oh yeah, it's a dying breed.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah, no question. The Iranians are very interesting. Some of the truth has come out about them covering up the shooting down the Ukrainian jetliner. And it was a low-level commander of a missile battery.
Yeah.
And he knew that they were launching missiles, that Iran was launching missiles, and they expected blowback from the U.S. Cruise missiles.
On alert to watch for something coming in.
Yep. And here he sees the jetliner. He says it's a cruise missile. So he calls and he asks for permission. No answer. Nothing. Can't get an answer, so he shoots it down.
Yeah.
He panicked or did his duty and shot it down. And first of all, everybody in the whole chain of command dummied up. Said, no, we didn't shoot it down. No. And finally it got up to the Grand High Poobah.
Yeah.
And he came back very strongly and said, tell the truth. And the president of Iran then went on TV and fessed up.
Yeah, if he hadn't done that, we probably they still wouldn't have admitted it. But
wouldn't have admitted it unless the Ayatollah told him to.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, he's the absolute supreme.
That's right.
Supreme power and everything there. But the whole thing was, there's two reasonings there. They should have closed that airport.
That's exactly right.
Because they said logically, they were launching missiles from the area. They expected retaliation to come back into that area. That airport should have been completely closed to any kind of commercial use.
Yep.
But their philosophy was that we'll leave it open and show that we're not afraid of anything.
Yeah, right. It worked out well.
Yeah, it worked out well.
Very poor judgment. But, stuff like that happens all the time. In a dictatorship like that, in North Korea, and where you have a totalitarian leader, and if you can't get an instant answer from him, well, what are you going to do? People are afraid to do anything, and
technically they're backwards. Their arm, their identification process of incoming aircraft, everything is still in a very primitive stage, and so but you got this ox cart camel mentality in a high tech situation, and it's always a disaster.
It is, and especially where you've got the Ayatollah, you got a president under him, and then you got a bunch of nervous people.
Exactly.
Down the chain of command,
That's what makes nuclear weapons in the hands of some of these people so damn dangerous.
That's why the Iranians cannot have nuclear weapons ever.
Yeah.
And if we don't do it, the Israelis will.
They're going to do it, yeah.
Yeah. By the way, the president revealed a possible peace, a pathway to peace in the Middle East. Some of it well thought out.
I watched it yesterday, and I read about it today.
Yeah. Certainly the Israelis must like the plan.
Oh, it's what they've been trying for a long time to get.
And the Palestinians don't.
No, 1,000 times no was the answer.
Yeah. Gee, so you don't want to live in peace. You don't want the people to be able to work and get jobs. And you don't want to exist like normal human beings.
Well,
and you know, when you have a discussion like that, the answer always is, well, that doesn't happen in the Middle East.
The problem there is the answer that you're getting, and like your questions that you posed, you're not getting the answer from the people that affect it. It doesn't affect them. You're getting the answers from the leaders. They don't. They say, I don't want peace. At that point, I want what I want, and I don't care about the people down here.
That's right.
They're the ones that want the peace and live a happy life. The leaders are going to be fat and happy no matter what happens.
We want to drive the Jews back into the Mediterranean.
And if you ask the guy living in his little house and having his olive grove or whatever they do in his job and stuff, they said, "Oh, we just want to live peacefully. We don't want to. This fighting back and forth is not any good for us."
You know better than I, after having served in Vietnam. But those people over there, they wanted to have a rice paddy, a hooch, and a water buffalo.
Leave us alone.
And just let us be. Politics, Viet Cong, nothing.
Nothing to me.
No, I just want to eat, have my family, have my water buffalo, and the little people are the ones that always get hurt.
They didn't care who won.
No.
Just get
it meant nothing to them.
But that's right. It didn't help them.
They
didn't
want to vote.
It just hurt them because the fighting stuff around would destroy their stuff and they get displaced and things. Yeah. But they didn't go get nothing out of it.
No. Stephen King, well-known author from Maine, really kind of set off a little bit of a firestorm when he was talking about the awards out in Hollywood, the Academy Awards. And he said he cares only about quality, not diversity, when deciding on awards. I would never consider diversity in matters of art, only quality. It seems to me that to do otherwise would be wrong. Well, that didn't set well with the Hollywood set.
Lighting a match in a dynamite factory.
It's exactly how I feel.
Oh, of course.
I mean, again, I've used the analogy before. So one of my sons needs surgery, emergency surgery. You want the best surgeon you can get to do that, not a hire that was hired for diversity's sake.
Absolutely right.
And when it's your kid, that's where the rubber meets the road.
And if you actually asked one of the, I'm not saying the what's called rank and file for the regular people, but one of the leaders, let's say we go into Boston and we pick out, Reverend Rivers, one of them guys always got his mouth going.
Yep.
And he has a son that, what was hypothetical? Let's say he's got some tricky heart problem.
Yeah.
And he had a choice to go to Mass General, and the surgery was going to be performed by one of the famous heart surgeons who was white, or a black heart surgeon that got into medical school under affirmative action and got through school on affirmative action? Which one do you think he'd pick?
The white guy.
Of course.
Yeah. And any father would.
Yep.
So, to condemn Stephen King for being honest, when you look at a painting, it doesn't really matter whether it was done by a Caucasian, a Filipino,
that's right. How could you tell anyway?
Haitian. It doesn't enter into the thought process of judging it. And in it, neither should it.
No, it shouldn't. And it doesn't.
It's done on quality.
That's right.
Yeah. And he said that. Mm-hmm. Well, he got slammed for that. Interesting.
We got slammed for...
Yeah.
Now he got slammed for endorsing Oprah Winfrey's new book, something about American Dirt.
Yeah.
But again, the super liberals are just going crazy.
Oh, yeah.
Because this woman wrote about a single mother and her daughter escaping out of Mexico and the cartels coming getting into the United States. But she's supposedly not Mexican. How dare a white woman? But she says, well, my grandmother or something was Puerto Rican. Well, that doesn't count. You're not Mexican. How? You can't write about that. And now they're giving Oprah Winfrey all kinds of crap because she's got this book of the month, whatever she has.
Yeah.
And then Stephen King made an endorsement that it's a well-written book. It's worth reading.
Yeah. Just to finish up here on Stephen King, director Ava DuVernay tweeted, "When you wake up, meditate, stretch, reach for your phone to check on the world and see a tweet from someone you admire that is so backward and ignorant, you want to go back to bed." That's backward and ignorant?
Oh, jeez, yeah.
What have we become? Well, guess what?
Well, what have we become? I just got Time, the new one, yesterday.
Yep.
There is a feature article in it about a man who is having internal strife. Should he take his son to a football game anymore? He took his son they went to a couple of Giants games last year, or this past year, and he just is so torn about what's going to happen if he takes his son to this. It's a violent game, and people getting this, what is CE or CBE, the head injuries, and oh my God, what's he going to tell his son about? And his son's like 12 or 10 or 12. But how is he going to justify going to a game or to a sport that didn't support, what's his name there from the Kaepernick, who was making a justified social correct protest, and the NFL did not support him. How is he going to tell his son, can I take my son to football games anymore? Good God, man, grow up.
It's amazing. I know exactly what you're talking about. I've met these people. I've talked to these people. I cannot understand these people when they talk about stuff like this. I mean, for God's sakes, it's a kid. They're out there playing a game.
Plus, you got to think about the father-son relationship that you're bonding, taking your son to a football game. Yeah. You're spending the afternoon or a day together doing stuff. Stop the other crap that you're bringing into it.
Exactly. The kid wants to see the game, have some popcorn and a hot dog, and that's it.
His path, the reason that he's doing, you couldn't hardly do anything. You couldn't take the kid fishing.
No.
God almighty, hunting. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Baseball will be the same thing. Somebody might get hit in the head with a baseball.
Oh, yeah.
What are you going to do?
Well, go to an art gallery, I guess.
Yeah, I guess that's about it.
Or go to Aunt Maggie's tea house.
Yep.
And have some of her famous watercress sandwiches.
There you go. with the crust cut off.
Right.
That's right.
I never got over that.
Me neither.
Ay. Yeah, but you wonder sometimes how these kids, what they are when they grow up.
Yeah.
When they get parents like this, I'm just going to get upset.
I know it drives you crazy if you let it.
Yep.
I told Monica, I said, I should stop reading this kind of crap.
Yeah. How
Or
about
listen
this,
to these people.
How about this guy John Lynch, in Boston, 67 years old, gets begged, taking a $50,000 bribe, and he's going to do 4 years. Well, 40 months.
Yep.
3.5 years in prison. Now, he's well known in Boston politics. He was a go-to guy.
Yeah.
He knew whose door to knock on when there was a problem, and see if I get this fixed for you and all that. $50K for a zoning board of appeal vote.
Yep.
Now, $50,000 is a lot of money. But in the big scheme of things, when you're 67, I guess you just think you're never going to get caught. But, 4 years is like a death
it could
sentence. It could be. And you're going in there, in the slammer, unless he gambled his money away or spent it on the ponies or other sordid things, and he really didn't have that much money. And
being an old curmudgeon like myself,
yes,
who's always looking with suspicion on everything, the first thing I thought when I saw that, the writer, one of the article I saw, tried to portray it. He didn't. He just made one mistake in his life.
Oh, yeah.
And he just screwed up. I say baloney. I said, this has probably been a pattern going on from day one. He's been doing this to various degrees for forever. I said, if you could look at this and pull the cover off, that the smell coming out of some of them organizations would reek you.
This guy is a political operative.
Absolutely. He's
well known in City Hall.
He's sitting on the throne just...
Yep.
All right, come on, gimme. All right, you get this, you get that, you get this.
Your kid got stopped for speeding.
Yep.
And DUI and blew a 2-0. Go see Jack Lynch.
Yeah. Oh, here's an envelope for you.
Yeah, go tell
it's just like in The Irishman, they were always handing envelopes.
Yeah. Tell him I sent you. Yeah. Go see Jack Lynch. Yeah. He fixes things.
It's a good old boy network.
Yeah. And Jack Lynch says, I can take care of that for you. It's going to cost you $2,000.
Yep.
I know, but listen, I got to grease a couple of palms along the way. Yeah. And I mean, he's still, this is a Mr. Fix-It.
Yeah, exactly.
Every political entity has got a go-to guy like that.
Absolutely. They wouldn't have that job for so long.
That's right.
And, the bigger the job it is, the more power they got.
Yep.
The more apt that this has been going on, because damn well it goes on. But we protect, we don't look at this thing. I don't want to see it. I know what's going on.
Yep. Or you've got the naive.
Oh, yeah. Oh, the naive ones that say, oh, that poor man.
Sal
had to go to prison. Oh, my.
Well, I went and saw Jack Lynch, and wasn't he nice to take care of you like that? He's a real gentleman,
Yeah.
Politics.
Al Capone was thought to be a nice man, too. The people around him, he did all kinds of stuff for neighbors and friends, and they used to go on and give up money to soup kitchens and help people with this. But he was a murdering gangster.
Absolutely. But this is money is the mother's milk of politics.
That's for sure.
And you've got to find the guy that can fix it.
Yep.
And you got to be prepared. I told you, I think I told you, that there was an anti-trapping bill introduced into the legislature in 1976. And I had a couple of co-sponsors, and they were making some noise. I went in there and I talked to different senators and different representatives about how they're going to vote. And I took a day off from work, my cousin John and I. And one of the guys, the chairman of the committee that was going to hear this bill, said, well, he didn't say it. His aide said it to me. He just walked away. And he talked to his aide, and his aide come over and said, a check for $500 to the senator's re-election committee. And the senator says, that's the end of that bill.
Yep.
It'll never see the light of day. It's down the tubes.
You just look at some of these offices. I'm not quoting real numbers here. I'm just putting numbers out, for example. Say some of these political offices that they run for, I don't know, clerk of courts or treasurer of this or treasurer of that, or the head of this agency, maybe pay, it used to be $60,000 or $70,000 a year, but they'll spend $1 million to get the job.
Yeah.
Where the hell is this and that? If that job didn't have the potential to reap a whole lot of money someplace else.
It's just like judges.
Makes no sense. That's right.
In Massachusetts. These guys, lawyers that having a tough time making a go of it, the practice can't get off the ground. Well, $1,000 to the governor's re-election committee, $500 to the local senator and the local rep, and then the next time around, more of the same and all that. And then, can you get my name to the governor for a judge-up? And yeah, let's see. Oh yeah, you've been a very loyal supporter of the governor, and I think I can get him to take a look at this, and then then of course there's a payoff afterwards too, and then you get a $143,000 job for life.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I might be just a doubting Thomas, sour old curmudgeon here, but I don't trust any of that stuff.
No, and Howie Carr writes about it constantly in the Herald, and there's all these coincidences.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the coincidence.
Yeah.
Gee.
Oh, he contributed $800 to this guy, $800 to that guy, $1,500 to the governor's committee, and he gets appointed to the district court as a clerk of court or assistant clerk of court.
Any Howie Carr fans out there, he's on TV. He's on from 4 to 6, Monday through Friday, on Newsmaker, I think is the channel. It's an 11, or if you're in Comcast, it's at 1115, 11:15. And he's actually, I think, what I understand, he's broadcasting it from Florida. But it looks like he's here because he's got Grace, his friend, there. But she's superimposed on the picture like they're sitting someplace. But he every once in a while he makes references to being in Florida.
Yeah.
But it's the same shtick.
He's vacationing down there.
Oh yeah. He's got the chump line, and you call in for the number, and it's enjoyable to watch. There's usually nothing else. It's 4 to 6 in the afternoon. So
what else is on? Well, there's some really big stuff going on down Rhode Island. Quite a story in the Globe. Guess what they're going to do?
It's hard to tell.
There's a bill that would allow lawmakers.
Oh yeah. Are we talking about tinting our windows?
Tinted windows to their cars.
Yeah.
we have to make some courageous calls on these votes.
So courageous.
And people look at us and they see who we are and they throw things at the cars. And, life is a hell living when you're a senator in Rhode Island. We need some protection. Honest, Pete. And then he's got a license plate on it. It says House 22 or something. Yeah.
It's so stupid,
so
self-serving.
That whole tinted glass thing on police cars, I'm not in favor of that.
I'm not either. Especially if you were a cop, I wouldn't want to approach a vehicle that I couldn't see through that rear window. Who's sitting in the not just front seat? Well, what's going on in the back seat?
And I don't think the police vehicles need to have their windows tinted.
No.
I want to be able to see the cop. I want to be able to wave to him. All right? And the cop, why does he have to have the tint so that he can't be seen? He's supposed to be accessible. Mm-hmm. He's supposed to be working with the community. He's supposed to be approachable. Hiding behind a tinted window? I mean, come on. I don't believe in that stuff. But they're going to do it down Rhode Island, I guess.
It's the legislators that I made me laugh too about they needed tinted windows.
Yeah. Yeah, because cops already have the tinted.
Yeah, they already got tints on theirs.
So this big article here in the Herald, the Baker bill gives state police reform real bite.
If they can get rid of that, appointing the head of the state police agency from not having to go inside to get somebody from the outside, then it's going to have some effect. If they got to bring the inside guys again with all their baggage, that's nothing going to change.
These people that wrote this editorial in the Herald, evidently trying to butter up Governor Baker. Here's our favorite part. Baker's proposal includes changes that give the colonel more power over discipline and create a statute that allows state and local departments to get back 3 times the amount stolen by police overtime abuse. Then,
what I don't quite understand that last statement. Are they saying they expect it to continue?
Exactly.
So we'll give you 3 times back? Don't worry about it, because you'll get back 3 times whatever they steal.
So we're going to make this pool of money that the state police stole. All right, so it amounts to $600,000 in total. We're going to divide that up among every city and town in Massachusetts. And there's 350 some odd cities and towns. Gee, everybody ought to be able to get just about enough to take the kids out for ice cream.
That's right.
One refrain that goes up from fed up ordinary folks when people in public positions are caught in various acts of wrongdoing and duly sentenced is, hey, they'll only get a slap on the wrist. 3 times the amount stolen is a real, possibly sell your house to pay this kind of consequences, and a darn good deterrent to future abuse. So they're going to make the cop give back 3 times what he stole.
Okay.
And then it'll go back to state and local departments. I don't see that happening.
Yeah, I think he should pay back 3 times what he stole after he does 3 or 6 years in Walpole.
The governor's bill would also open the door to external candidates to lead the Massachusetts State Police and create a cadet program and make other promotional changes, all with an eye on continuing to diversify the force. I want the best cops available on the force, not the most diverse.
No, because again, you're putting an artificial limitation on your candidates.
That's exactly right. Making the state police more diverse, increasing accountability, and rebuilding public trust.
Yep.
The colonel clearly has his work cut out for him, but his team is making significant progress on this agenda, Baker said. Then it goes on and on. It's just a puff piece. Oh, they get a new class of 252 recruits, and there's a new curriculum with new focuses on empathy, de-escalation, implicit bias, and crisis interactions. My command staff and I will continue to prioritize an increased emphasis on teaching recruits the skills necessary for modern-day problem solving and community interaction. Listen, there's a whole mindset in the state police.
Oh my God,
that has got to be changed.
That empathy part, that was the one of the key things I agree with.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. You get rid of the jackboots.
Yep.
Get rid of the Yogi Bear hats.
Yep.
And the ammo type stripe across here.
Sam Brown belt.
Yeah, exactly. And if you want caps on them, put them in baseball caps, if anything.
Yeah.
And learn to say please, thank you, and be a normal person instead of a stormtrooper.
Do you know why I stopped
That's right.
Listen, I was sitting in the back seat. I was going out to lunch with a salesman. My boss was in the front seat. I was sitting in the back seat. I was looking right over Dick Schmettinghoff's shoulder. He was going 50 miles an hour on 95. Cop pulled him over, state cop.
Mm-hmm.
So Dick started to get out of the car to go back to see what was the problem. He starts screaming at him. You get in that effing car. He said, I'll put cuffs on you and I'll throw you in the back seat of my car and you'll be in the clink or jail, or I'll put, threatening him, screaming at him. Wrote him up. So you know how fast you were going? Dick says, I don't know, 50, 55, the speed limit. He says, you were going 75. And screaming at Dick, who's the most mild-mannered guy in the world. So he went back to the car, and I said to Dick, just don't argue with him. Just take the ticket, all right? And I got back to work, and I called somebody. They called over to Rentham Court, and the ticket was torn up when it arrived. But even if a dummy like me knows how to do that.
But I think they were trained for years. If not, it was a mindset with them.
Yeah. That
you got to intimidate. You have to be the drill instructor.
Exactly.
Image.
Yeah. It was embarrassing.
Mm-hmm.
Man.
You'd never see Massachusetts State Police on PD Live.
No.
Oh, guys, they would look so bad. But look at, what is it, Oklahoma? They're kind. They're.
The Oklahoma cops are well trained.
Yep.
And you have to sit in the front seat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, sit in the front seat.
Yeah. And for the most part, the cops. Now, I understand what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
You also understand they get their marching orders from the chief.
Well, of course.
You're on TV. Do not say or do anything that's going to disgrace the department. But even if they did, then Live PD would erase it.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't convince me that's all live.
No, of course not.
There's a delay on the air of anywhere from 10 minutes to an hour.
Well, of course, because they when you hear beeps, how do they anticipate that beep when the guy's going to lay an F-bomb down just immediately? But they've already censored it.
And not only that, but they're about 3 miles out. Let's squeeze in a quick break.
Yeah, that's
we'll be
quick.
right back.
Break. Yeah.
And they come back, and the guy was same spot he was in before they had the break. Yeah. By the way,
I saw one time and they didn't say it was early or anything else. They went from Rhoda to what they used to be at. It wasn't East Providence then. It was
Princeton. Warwick.
Warwick. And good Lord, there's a half a foot of snow here, and they had the Warwick, the leaves are on the trees. I said, wait a minute. I know it's further south, but it ain't that far south.
Also about 10:30 at night.
Yeah.
He said, oh, wait a minute, something's going on in Warwick. Let's switch to see what Captain So-and-so is up to.
Yeah.
It was broad daylight.
It's daylight, yeah.
They're not fooling us.
No, we're too sharp for that, Bill.
Now, let me ask a serious question.
Okay.
Harvard scientist lied about his ties to the Chinese.
That's a big problem right there.
And Wuhan University of Technology paid this guy, Liba, Charles Liba, age 60. He paid him $50,000 a month, approximately $158,000 in living expenses, and $1.5 million to establish a research laboratory in exchange for working on behalf of the university for not less than 9 months a year. And he was stealing secrets and funneling them to the Chinese.
That I believe, I will swear, there's so much going on across the country. They're draining our intellectual properties. It's like a sieve, and we don't do a damn thing about it.
Well, I can tell you a damn thing that should be done about it. All right? In wartime, that's treason.
Yeah, absolutely.
In wartime, you're lined up and shot. And there's no reason why this guy shouldn't be shot.
Yep.
I mean, this is ridiculous. We've gotten away from capital punishment because it's icky. Oh, I don't like it. And yet this guy is going to cost how many lives with this?
Hard telling.
That's right.
You don't know. And this is not just a one-time incident with this guy.
Of course it is.
And he's not the only one doing it. It's endemic with us. We're so damned open with everything.
So trusting.
And you see that damn Globe will say something about of course it's Trump's fault again, that the foreign students coming over, there are less students showing up from foreign countries going to college here. Well, I say good. Because every seat that you give to some kid from Pakistan, that means some kid from Iowa is not going to get in.
Or Pennsylvania.
Yeah. That's right. But you'd rather give it to some kid from Pakistan who coming here and going to study. Look what they're going to. They're going to MIT and they're studying nuclear engineering. Then they're going back home. Well, what do you think they're going to do with that nuclear engineering degree or smart when they get there?
Yeah.
Well, you're going to see what they're going to do with it. But you're training your own potential enemies.
Yeah. Derek Scissors of the American Enterprise Institute said, "It doesn't surprise me at all. This is happening all over the academic world.
That's what I said. Yep.
The Chinese are trying to steal knowledge and material that is crucial to American national security."
Yep.
The Harvard professor is also accused of failing to disclose that he has received millions of dollars from the Chinese government for foreign research. Amazing. He's doing the research at Harvard, being paid by the Chinese, and sending the results to the Chinese.
Of course.
This is, I'll tell you what, if that bum ever sees a light of day out of a prison,
I don't think anything will happen to him.
You know what?
Fine.
That's the sad part about it.
Yep.
That's the sad part about it.
People don't realize here is that when you deal with a Chinese entity, let's say a company, what's the cell phone company they're always working at? Huawei?
Verizon.
No. Huawei.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You may be dealing with them, but you're really dealing with the Chinese government.
That's exactly right.
Every company that's a Chinese company answers to the Chinese government.
Huawei.
Yeah, Huawei. Yeah, that's it.
Oh, they're part of the government. Yeah, absolutely.
And it doesn't matter if they're making paper bags; they're still hooked into the Chinese government.
Got to reveal everything to the government. Very, very, very bad. Very, very, very dangerous. I get a real stupid story here coming after this, boy, I'll tell you. 4 teenagers allegedly struck a man from behind, 5:42 p.m. on Sunnyside Street in Jamaica Plain, and took his cash. But the spending spree didn't last long. Once officers arrested them at a nearby pizza shop, according to Boston police. At the scene, the alleged victim told officers the assailants had struck him in the back of the head, robbed him, and then ran down Center Street toward Jackson Square. Then it just goes on to say they investigated and found him in the pizza shop. The suspects, ages 13, 15, 15, and 17, were booked on charges of unarmed robbery and assault and battery. Their names weren't released because of their ages. Gee, it's great to see the young folks interested in stuff like that.
They had a gang, I call it a gang fight. It would just mean I don't know if it was gangs or not, but there was 13 and 14-year-olds right by Lincoln or by Franklin Park, and a bunch of them got stabbed. One got killed.
Yeah.
And these are kids stabbing kids.
Now, in Japan, in the courts, they have a 99% conviction rate.
Oh, yeah.
You know, you wonder sometimes if maybe they haven't got an idea that maybe that works better than our legal system. I'm not saying that it should be 99% here, but there's too damn many of these kids that walk afterwards.
Oh, absolutely. And the fact that they walk sometimes as kids is sometimes not all bad, but the bad part is there's consequences down the road. They usually end up doing something really bad.
Right.
They end up killing somebody
because
or maiming
they
somebody.
realize there's
absolutely
no consequences for my action.
Yep.
So here's a story that is amazing in its stupidity. The wealthiest are also more satisfied than us.
Yeah, I said, I can't believe that.
90% of adults in the top 1% income category, they say they are completely or very satisfied with their lives. But you know, only 48% of middle income adults and wait a minute now. Okay. 19 compared to 19% of middle income adults say they are satisfied. Mm-hmm. And believe it or not, 29% of lower income adults are satisfied. But 90% of the adults in the top 1% are satisfied.
Well, they don't. If you're in the top 1%, you're not struggling with day-to-day matters.
Yeah.
You're not worried about rent or the mortgage payment or how am I going to send my kids to college or my kid needs dentures or not dentures, braces.
Yeah.
You don't worry about that because it's just a matter of fact. Yeah.
But this is interesting. Only 4% of the wealthiest 1% would struggle to pay an unexpected $1,000 expense. 4% would struggle with it. I don't understand that.
Well, again, that's got to be the guy that takes in $100,000 a week and spends $100,000.
Yeah, okay, gotcha.
We don't see too much of that, but you know, if you go to some place, California is a perfect example of that. You got people that making big money, but spending huge amounts of money.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Good point. So anyway, only 4% of the wealthiest 1% would struggle to pay off an unexpected $1,000, while 34% of middle-income adults and 67% of lower-income adults say they would have problems paying it.
It goes back to saving money, too. That's the same what we talked about the other program.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Only 8% of the wealthiest 1% say their families have experienced serious problems paying medical bills, dental bills, or prescription drugs in the last few years, while 48% of middle-income adults and 57% of lower-income adults say they have. Now, is it any shock that the wealthiest are more satisfied than us? So much of a shock that you have to put it as the headline.
Yeah, as if everybody didn't even already know that.
I mean, this is so stupid.
the 5 bill.
Okay.
There's I don't remember the product now, but the guy's name that's on is Captain Obvious. He brings out stuff.
Yeah.
Gee, Captain Obvious, you think? So, it's that kind of thing. It's just so obvious. But I think there must be slow news days that these guys they can't fill up the space.
Yeah, that's got to be it. Hard to believe. By the way, this bothers me. A dog was found abandoned and tied to a street sign in West Boylston Sunday night and is still without a home. The dog has been named Danny. He was chained to a sign, and somebody noticed it and noticed he was there and finally called the police, and they took him in, and he's doing well. You know what? Anybody that would do that, as far as I'm concerned, put him in chains and tie him to a pole someplace out in the woods and leave him there.
There's no excuse for that kind of animal cruelty.
None
whatsoever. Because, first of all, the guy is not only irresponsible, but he's potentially dangerous, because those people that will do that to an animal
would do it to a human being in a heartbeat.
That's right.
Absolutely right. Absolutely. By the way, they found a truck driver, a tractor trailer rolled over on Route 1 in Revere, and charged the driver with drunken driving. Refused to take a breathalyzer test, and they found 2 empty bottles of Fireball whiskey in his truck. When all was said and done, they charged him with operating under the influence, negligent operation of a motor vehicle, possession of an open container of alcohol in a motor vehicle, carrying an unsecured load, marked lane violations, and speedings. Released him on $540 bail. As far as I'm concerned, when you get a guy like that, as a truck driver, driving a big rig like that, drunk, never should drive again.
Nope, should not. Your CD should be permanently revoked.
Out the door. Out the door in a heartbeat. So, New Hampshire data, this is an amazing statistic. This is just everybody in New Hampshire. Democrats, Republicans, Socialists, Communists, the whole 9 yards. President Trump's performance, as of yesterday, 48% very favorable, 27% somewhat favorable, 14% somewhat unfavorable, 9% very unfavorable. So 23% judge him as being unfavorable, his performance.
That's a much higher rating than Obama would have gotten.
And 75% said either somewhat favorable or very favorable.
That's actually a phenomenal number, you know.
That is.
When you look at it.
You know what? That bodes well for his election chances in New Hampshire.
Okay. 2.
Okay. Now, I got the same thing here for the Democrats. Kind of interesting. Bernie Sanders has reached out. He is now on top, 29%. Joe Biden has 22%. Elizabeth Warren has 16%. Pete is down around 10%. 10%. Amy Klobuchar, 5%. Tulsi Gabbard, 3%. Michael Bloomberg 3, and Albert Yang 1.
Oh, geez, I want my $1,000 a month. Come on.
So
I like that $1,000 a month for 18 years old.
Yeah. The according to wait a minute, her numbers are slipping badly in New Hampshire. Senator Warren, I think she may have a real problem. One, eh?
Yes. With Yang, it is $1,000 a month. I said, why stop at 1,000? You can't do it, so why don't you say 10,000 a month for everybody?
Yeah.
Hell, you might as well promise them the moon.
Absolutely. Probably get 3 more votes that way.
If you're going to give me $1,000 a month, I'll vote for him if I actually thought he was really $1,000 a month.
Absolutely. I mean, I'd give him a vote myself.
That's right.
Well, friends, we've come to the end of another delightful visit with you.
Yep. You all behaved today, too. Yeah. We didn't have to.
And by the way, do you realize that we are going to exit January without snow on the ground?
Hopefully, yes, we will. I guess. Yep. We're not tempting fate here. We're saying, "Hey, Mother Nature, yeah, you're not so good."
February can be a mean month.
You ain't kidding.
But boy, I'll tell you, we've had a mild winter so far. Some cold nights.
Yeah. Oh,
but
yeah.
None of that stuff we have to shovel, and that's great. So look, friends, behave yourselves, have fun, stay safe, and we'll see you next time.